My name is Jacqueline Adebija, and on this evening, we'll be taking a look at something that, like it or not, we are with. It is our reality, and the earlier we start to know what to do about it, the better. You know what they say, that Chinese proverb that says the best time to have planted a tree was yesterday. The next best time would be right now, today, right here, right now. Have you ever heard about something called hidden hunger? Hidden hunger. I know, right? It's a very funny phrase, hidden hunger, because one would think that when you're hungry, there are signs, visible signs, or should I say, physical signs, where your tummy is rumbling, you're not in a good mood, you're unhappy. However, in this case, there are many reasons why, but you're eating, but your body is not getting the kind of nutrients that it should get. And so while you might be full, in quote, the food that you're eating is not doing the right job, or it's not doing the kind of job that your body needs it to do. Now, someone might say, and so what? But before I get to answering that, we don't really know why. But, researching on this, I found out that there's so many reasons. Could be one, it could be all together, it could just be the one, it could be all together. But sometimes over farming on the same piece of land, the same kind of crop on the same type of land for a very long time causes hyperacidity of the soil, and then some of those nutrients manage to not be a part of the vegetable or the food that has been planted. In some cases, there's research that has shown that the wrong type of fertilizer being used could actually also lead to some of these foods being deficient in very, very critical micronutrients that our body needs. Now, like I said, a number of people might say, well, look, my guest is on their way, but let's talk. Let's do this before they get here. Okay. And some people might say, oh, why do we have this concern? After all, we dey chop as long as belle full, nothing matter. Yeah, but that is not true at all. Now I'll tell you why. From people growing up and having issues with their fertility, you heard me right. You heard me right. Having problems or challenges with giving birth, to children dying young, to people having goiters, that swelling at the front of the throat, very visible in women especially, to children not being smart in school. You're teaching a child and the child just doesn't seem to be getting it. And you're saying, look, everybody in my family is brilliant. I don't know where you get it from, probably from your mother. It's always the woman's fault in an African home. And then when the man is not around, the woman will say, look, it's your father's people that are not bright. All of these things could be pointing to the fact that this child or this adult did not get the kind of nutrients that they should have gotten when they were younger, or as a matter of fact, still not getting those nutrients. So yes, micronutrient deficiency is a very, very critical issue. It is something that we need to focus on. And I'm glad to say that, especially in Kaduna State, we have, several agencies that have been put up, commissions to actually work on nutrition in Kaduna State. Where are we at? What more do we need to do? What information do you and I need as parents so that even when we go to the supermarket or when we go to wherever to get food items, we are doing it mindfully? Whether you want to buy gari or you want to buy yam, or you want to buy even sugar, or you want to buy salt, you will do so mindfully. It doesn't matter how much you have. Oh, it's small money I have, or I can only buy the one that they retail. It doesn't matter. Do it mindfully, because at the end of the day, it's your money. And so you should be getting your full worth. The full worth of that money, you should be getting it. And so while I wait for my guest to get here, I just need for us to sit down and think about this for a while. And I'm just going to open up the phone lines right now and hear from you. Hidden hunger. Hidden hunger. Is it something that you've heard before? And if you've had any inkling about this topic before now, I would like to hear about it. And if you have been working on it, I beg your pardon, don't know why this is happening, wasn't happening before. But if you have been, as a woman especially, if you have been doing mindful nutrition for your family, I would like to hear it. What do you do? How do you do it? I'm not going to give too much away until our guests get here, but I know that quite a number of us out there also know what I'm talking about and would like to hear from you. So if you do know about hidden hunger, you've come across that concept before, and as a woman, or as a man, you have worked on this before, as a father or as a mother, I mean, someone who is consciously ensuring that in my family, we don't have that issue of hidden hunger, then I would like to hear from you. It has a whole, like I said, from infertility to someone who has challenges with their blood, always anemic, to a child who is not smart, to, there's so many problems associated with this. And so I'm going to open up the phone lines. If you have something to contribute to this discussion before our guests get here, then I would love to hear from you. The numbers are 081 40,000 989. Once again, that's 081 40,000 989. And then we have 070 87 800 989. That second number is 070 87 800 989. Hidden hunger. Hunger that hides. That's the phrase. No calls? That means a lot of us do not know about this. And in that case, okay, my guest just got here. And, well, I'm glad. Let's get her settled in. And we'll be right back. Stay with us. Stay with us. Your Health 360 with Jacqueline Adebija. Your Health 360. Your Health 360. Well, thank you for staying with us through that commercial break there. And I'm glad to say my guest is finally here in the person of Jessica Bartholomew. Jessica, amongst other things, is also the coordinator of civil society scaling up nutrition in Nigeria, Kaduna chapter. And so she coordinates this, and no better person to find out exactly where Kaduna stands in this matter, what else is going on, how we, approaching or addressing the issue of micronutrient deficiency. Because basically, like I was saying before she got here, this is the hidden hunger that we're talking about. The fact that we're eating, but if you would excuse me using that term, we're eating for nothing. We're eating for nothing because we're eating. In many instances, some people would say they're full. Some are even saying, look, I'm not even getting that feeling of that being satiated. This is what's the word I'm looking for now? But just eating and being full. Some people will tell you that they don't even have that right now. But there's so many more that even eat and feel that fullness. Will actually tell you that they're, yes, I don't belly full or they're satiated, but they were full for nothing. Okay? So welcome,
Yeah.
Jessica. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you.
We're live on Facebook, so you can actually go on Facebook and check us out, drop a comment, or you can send us text messages to the number 09072703270, and we could take your questions. But just to hear from you, you have been working in this sphere for a while now. You are coordinator. How bad is this situation of hidden hunger in our society?
Okay. First of all, when we say hidden hunger, what we are saying is there's a deficiency in both vitamins and minerals. So it can be internal. It's not something that, first of all, you can see physically. That's why it's bad, because you can see someone working and the person has deficiencies. The only time you know that that person is actually sick is when those reactions come out and then the person is admitted. Let's give, for example, a woman that lacks iron in her body. When she takes in, she start having issues of high blood pressure or anemia due to inefficient iron in her body. So those are vitamins and minerals that are essential in providing us with development, the brain development, cognitive, and everything that has to do with growth. The inavailability of it is what we call the deficiency in micronutrients, and it's very bad. It's very bad because as Kaduna State now, that has also been able to affect us. Our malnutrition index is 43.8%, which is very high, you know. And although we have moved in the past 5 years from 2013 to 2018 in the National Demographic Health Survey, it was initially about 50%, and then we have now dropped, to 43%. But is that bad? It's not like people are not eating. No. People are eating, but they are not eating meal with adequate nutrition. When we say adequate nutrition, is those things, those ingredients that you will, add up, that will be able to build the body system. When we are talking about vitamins, we see it in fruits. So how many women feed their children fruits in a day? So when you lack it, that's when you start looking for afford such treatments to repair an impairment. You know, so if you miss out that window of opportunity, that 1,000 days, it is gone. That child becomes stunted. And in terms of even the human capital development now,
Right.
the returns on investment is poor. Because a child that was able to access all the adequate nutrients in that 1,000 days, if you compare it with a child that didn't get all those adequate nutrients, there is very wide gap. That issue that we hear that we have been teaching them since morning, it's like these people are dullants. That is the reason. It's not they don't have control over it. Their cognitive functions are not as built as it was supposed to be because of this deficiency. So Jackie, is that bad? It's a cycle.
You know, it's
a life
interesting,
cycle.
Jessica, because while we're talking about mortality and how, this nutrient deficiency might be contributing to the mortality rate of women, especially in childbirth and all of that. Another picture began to develop in my mind, just like you were saying, the fact that, especially up north, a lot of us have, the fact that our indices when it comes to performance educationally is not up to par, so to speak, with other parts of the country. One might also infer that it is possible because we eat without being mindful of what we're eating. And one could start to draw even a wider picture from all of that. However, you've told us that we are doing some work in this area. What remains to be done? What do we still need to know as individuals, as a society, in, challenging this status quo, in ensuring that we turn it around?
Yeah. The funny part is, when you say curative, it's very expensive. When you want to cure a problem, that's why they will say don't go and, so that, because the result of having a deficiency is actually very expensive. So when we want to do curative, it costs the government a lot. So what do we do? It's not to attack it from the root cause. So that's back to the community. What are we feeding them in terms of the kind of harmful practices that we see at our community? These things were done before. When you look at the percentages of the deficiency in micronutrients, even in women or children, in those years, those days, it's not as bad as this. So what were we not doing? A lot of harmful practices came on board, and people began to shy away from food, locally available food that's supposed to build our system. So what do we do now? The first thing is to build a community trust, to be able to go to the community, create awareness on the dangers of not eating your locally food. Those processed food that now the locals like myself feel that if we eat it, it's big man's food. Indomie is big man food. We will eat it, and we have dropped our dadawa, we have dropped our beans, we have dropped our danwake for Indomie. Has now exposed
for noodles.
Yeah. For noodles, sorry. For noodles, we've dropped them for processed foods. Let me even just put processed foods. We've dropped them for processed foods. Have cost us this. We've moved away, shied away from what we are supposed to feed ourselves and our children. So if you go up to our villages now, you see them eating a lot of pastas because they feel that those ones are the most, So it's not wrong, but put the ingredients, those things like vegetable, add it to the food. And so what we want to do is create a lot of awareness. And the best place that awareness can be created is using the primary health care centers. Those are areas that provide such services. So we want our primary health care centers to be able to counsel women on adequate dieting using the locally available food, so that we don't come up with menus that will further frighten people from eating a well-nourished food. It has already, a lot of research has shown that those locally available food have every vitamin and minerals that we are looking for. So the first thing is we noticed that it was more of a social behavioral change communication thing. So if we can address that, we that is the root cause. We begin to address other factors. So let's address the behavioral change pattern for our community people, and then we'll come to discussing how they can get linkages to improve their livelihood. Remember that the basic cause of this is you can align it to socio-economic factors like infrastructure, poverty, and all those. And so if you can begin to address that, the solution just keeps coming up until we have a reduction in the percentage of children and women that die by infant mortality and maternal mortality due to deficiency in micronutrients.
Indeed, it's a very deep. I beg your pardon once again. It's a very deep situation or challenge, so to speak. Going into another area where I've had the privilege of capacity being built for me, talking about innovative ways through which you can ensure that even the potato, the gari that you're eating has those nutrients. And one thing I learned was a lot of times it's better when your starchy foods like potato and even yam actually has some color, is yellow. You can see yellow in it than for it to be pure white. I learned that even in cassava, this is true, that you are able to have that aspect of it. To have starchy food looking yellow is better. You're going to get better nutrients from that than having white starchy food. Is this true?
Okay, so in that aspect, just like you, we've also, when you hear quality seedlings, those agric people will tell you which part of a seedling has these micronutrients in it, like the orange fleshed potato. They know this category of food that are likely to have more vitamins and minerals that will respond to such deficiencies. So how do they know? It's because a lot of research too has been done to be able to, the way we crossbreed, bring this category, bring this one, match it together and see what can we produce out of it. So yes, they actually do have those quality seedlings that they can give to farmers to be able to grow food items that have good minerals and vitamins. Yes, they exist, because I also am aware of the orange flesh potato. It's so good that you can refer it to people that have diabetes as part of their meal. Yes, it's so good that they can eat it and nothing happens to it. So that aspect you bring, it actually tallies. That is why when you talk about nutrition, it's multi-sectoral. Agric, they need to sit down and see how they can support the process. Education needs to sit down and see how they can support the process. What other health? They need to all sit down and see how they can support the process. For instance, they will be able to give the community sensitization on which food item they can grow in their gardens, in their farms, that has good nutrition that they can use in their family. So yes, they actually correlate, because when you talk about nutrition, it also contributes majorly to human capital development.
Right.
And that is because it has a factor that deals with brain development, being able to give back in terms of what you have up there, your economic returns when you are able to work, be in the market labor force, gives back to the government. But if you don't have that mineral or vitamin that can grow you, that can give you that develops your brain. There's nothing you will do, Jackie. You can just end up, if you have a potential, for instance, of becoming at the age of 21, you are a professor. Because of that deficiency, at the age of 21, you are struggling through secondary school because of that deficiency. It's not something you can help it. You can't help it. When that person is gone, is gone. So yes, we need a multisectoral approach. We need agriculture to come up with food varieties that are, high in vitamins, high in minerals, and begin to sensitize our farmers on how to plant those things and get good yield so that they can also feed their family.
So you've been talking about the first 1,000 days, the first 1,000 days. How does that, how do we convert that into years? That's about 3-4, the first
2 years.
First 2 years
Yes.
of a child's
Yes,
life.
yes.
Very, very important that they get this micronutrients.
Yes.
Now, as a mother going into the market and you want to buy things, many times you see fortified with vitamin A. And a lot of us just, overlook it. We don't think it's that important. We don't think, you should, because many times you find that for products like that, you get maybe 10, 20 naira costlier. You get them 10, 20 naira, even up to 100 naira costlier than those that are not fortified. And many times we just say, salt is salt, sugar is sugar. Is this true or not? Is there something something to this fortification
Yeah,
then?
there is actually. So NAFDAC, it's actually true that they are fortified. So NAFDAC had also ensured that they regulate those products to ensure that as soon as you put that it's fortified with vitamin A, it actually has vitamin A. So it passed through a process from the standard SON.
Right.
From SON, it comes to NAFDAC. NAFDAC deals with food and beverages. So for you to put it in the market, they must have verified that this product has what it says it has. That's the fortified vitamins and nutrients. But then it comes to the civil, when it comes to my domain, the civil society, I would say that we need to do more in terms of knowing those certified, by the constant, reaffirmation by NAFDAC that these people, we've continued to recertify that this content is there. It's not that just because we've given them one pass 10 years ago, meaning we don't need to redo samples of their product and ensure that it has those components inside. So by the time I don't have any goods, I don't sell anything, but I myself, when I go to the market, I go out for those fortified because I've been told by NAFDAC that they have those components. So I can't say, okay, is it right for it to be more expensive? I guess the manufacturers had to go through a lot to make it fortified. So that's why there is a difference in price because of the nature of its fortification. Now, it's left for the company and the other organizations that control these food and beverages to ensure that citizens buy into using those products because they are certified that they have the components we are looking for, especially when we are talking about sugar for children. As children, they really need that sugar. So yes, if I'm supposed to be talking from the angle of NAFDAC, I will be telling people that please go for these products. So they have this that can improve this. So all these things boil down to the fact that a lot of these ministries, departments, and agencies, they really need to stand up and own up to their mandate by ensuring that there is a lot of communication happening between them and the people at the grassroots. And of course, the medium they can use, of course, to get wider range of people having access to this. They can also pass these information by constantly being in touch with civil society organizations and media on the best practices and how we can help monitor those other, because I spoke to one NAFDAC staff one time, and she said, any salt that is not fortified, we don't agree, we don't allow that salt to be in the market. So for it to be even in the market is a crime. So they need to let us know on how to support them in tracking those other people that are still bringing in salt, sugar, and other food items that are mainly supposed to be fortified that are not.
As a matter of fact, there's another interesting picture that just developed in my mind while you were talking about everybody, a multi-sectoral approach, such that everybody is owning up to their responsibility, living up to their roles and responsibilities in this society. You know that when you walk into the market, be it the market, I'm talking about the central market, or even any popular supermarket out there, there's a tendency for you to see, for instance, a certain product, a beverage, for instance. You will see the one made in England and the one made in Nigeria. A lot of us are guilty of going to buy the ones made outside this country. And while you were speaking, it just occurred to me that these people, you know, be it in England, you know, the United States, or even Germany, might not have this micronutrient problem. And so their products certainly might not be addressing those issues. Even if it were present, it might not be on the scale that, you know, would address the kind of issues that we have for a country, a society that had over 50% of us deficient in micronutrients not too long ago. These products might not be addressing it, and yet here we are. We'll leave the ones made in Nigeria to go and buy the ones made outside the country because we believe that the ones made outside the country are better, are of better quality. So my question would be, going back to NAFDAC and probably even the Standard Organization of Nigeria, should we be allowing these products coming to Nigeria? I mean, because whether you're talking, I mean, we could start to name names of products here. You will see both the made in Nigeria and the made in, you know, the UK or the US or Germany, or, you know, one of these countries, France, somewhere.
So even before we even begin to talk about the other countries, Jackie, do you now see that there's a problem? For you to enter the market and the first preference is you are going for a foreign product than a Nigerian made.
That is the mindset.
Now,
many of us think
now
that
see the mindset. That is the same thing that is happening at the local area. You see why our own locally food are abandoned for in quotes, a more richer kind of food. We want to also eat with class. You know, now that's the bone of contention. Nobody wants you to address him or her as being so vulnerable that they cannot eat what the supposed rich man is eating. So if a rich man is eating pasta, oh, I need to eat pasta. Pasta has everything. You know, if a rich man is eating a kind of food, a processed food, that's the. So before I even come to talking about our preferences for foreign products against our Nigerian locally made, you know, food item, you can see where the problem is in terms of even the mindset of going after leaving behind our own locally available food that has the nutrients that we need in our body, and we are going for a supposedly rich kind of food. Back to your question, there's a lot that has to happen, and I think Jackie, we've also looked at it from the civil society space, and we will say that there is a very strong, you know, when you have this kind of very strong opponent, if you want to fight one case, you have a strong opponent. In the issue of beverages, it's something that we have looked at and asked ourselves, how can we beat the process? What do we need to do to bring the attention of people to the negativity around leaving your own locally available food for a foreign product that might not really be addressing the issue at hand? You, of course, you know, if you even say that because they don't have this challenge of deficiencies, So probably their products, it might not be true, because from the onset they factor these things in, because they, during their own policy, programs and designing, they have wanted to address a long-term issue. So all their beverages, I stand to be corrected, I don't know, I've never looked at any beverage policy, must carry some certain things for it to even be used in those countries. Those are the things that make them different, why
But
they are
the
developed.
problem is many of them do export only. You go and
And
check.
they are not using it
They're
in
not
their
using
country.
it over
They are-
there.
Good.
Many
Now
times
that is,
too, we have
now
that.
that is when we are coming back to our own context, saying, why do we need, what is the valid proof that these companies, both NAFDAC, both SON, have checked they have validated these food items and said, oh, these foreign food items have these components that we can sell in our Nigeria. It can actually compete with our local Nigerian food. Nobody has sort of brought that one to anybody's notice. So it has just been a perception that, oh, this foreign product has more than what my Nigerian product has, because they have this and that, so I'm buying it. It's mostly you and I. We can, who told you that you should be buying, for instance, you should be buying a beverage that is made from a foreign country? Nobody. You just grew up and saw that people are buying it because the perception is that they have what it has the components of what can build your body system. But nobody has come out to validate that. So that is what we are asking, that we need these companies to validate why we should be going for. Just imagine how much people spend to treat malnutrition. About, in just Kaduna State, to procure RUTF has cost us some amount of money in the state. Last year alone, the government was able to release 100 million to purchase RUTF as a curative for malnutrition.
100 million.
100 million
That could have gone into developing some other aspects of society.
So we really need to begin to question this, this narrative about using foreign food items against our locally
but Jessica,
available.
the challenges are many, because for instance, I know for a fact that people like NAFDAC and SON, the Kaduna chapters, we have not once, not twice have we reached out to them to look. We're not looking for your money. Come and talk to the people.
Exactly.
And but it just seems as if probably because there's so many challenges, so many things to hide, nobody really wants to come and talk because you don't want to lose your job. But here we are with this situation on hand. Before we open up the phone lines quickly, let me go to something else that I realized about micronutrient deficiency and some of the causes and the use of wrong fertilizer. Over farming on a certain piece of land,
Exactly.
a particular crop. How are we addressing this issue? Or have we even done any work in Kaduna State in this area? Or, what are we doing? Where are we at?
Okay, first of all, I would like to say that a lot of reforms are taking shapes in Kaduna State. I won't deny that our government is actually trying, but of course we will always say that they need to try more. So if a government has passion for a particular thing, the food soldiers are the ones that actually implement it. So the food soldiers have to be on the forefront of ensuring that they have the right information at their fingertips to be able to do that. Notwithstanding, we've not seen a lot of discussions from the Ministry of Agric and CADA on this issue. And
has civil society reached out to even ask if they are aware that these practices are harming the populace?
Of course, I know that because we developed an annual operational plan together with them. They are part of the State Committee on Food and Nutrition, so they know that as part of their mandate, they are supposed to ensure that there's awareness creation on the best practice. Okay, so they call it agricultural best practice. It's a package that has all these things. So now probably what we'll be saying is it's not enough. We need more. We need more in terms of massive awareness creation on those agricultural best practice, because we want to start seeing them analyze it in terms of, okay, we've done awareness. What's the percentage of people that have now been able to use those capacity that we have built on the best practices for agriculture, putting in cognizance that the farm that has been used for we reshuffle it. We normally self they will tell you to even change the pattern of the ridge.
In fact, I was just going to say that
They
it
will
was
change,
while I
if
was
you are
reading
doing your
this that
ridges
I
like this,
yes
you change it to this way.
to this way.
Then change it to this. So they do all those. It's a package. They are the professionals in that aspect, you know, and so they need to really work in tune with the CSOs and media to provide them support in, okay, do your leaflets, do your pamphlets, do a version, Hausa version, and let us put it out there that you are not getting this because this your field though has the value you are looking for has died. Nothing is there. So we need to do this so that you can also put manure from poultry on the field to be able to support the
Enrich it.
Exactly, enrich it, instead of bombarding the farmland with chemicals in terms of fertilizers that are chemical inclined. You can also pop it up with manure, then add, you know, fertilizer to it to make it, you know, rich. So those ones are at our forefront. We really want to this year to really engage them intensively to see how the, funny enough, we're having an advocacy with CS1 with the Commissioner for Health, and she made mention that it's very, very key that we see Ministry of Agriculture. And her reasons basically is that a lot has to do around food security.
Right.
A lot has to do to be able to address this issue.
Because it's obvious that it's not enough to tell people that, look, this year if you plant maize here, try to plant beans next, rotational farming. Because it was just now, recently, I mean, I was like 2 years old, like we love to say, when I realized that, the reason why we were taught in agriculture in those days that, look, when you plant beans, you rotate, plant the corn here and then plant the beans there. You know, it was now that it was recently that I realized that it is so that
you
nutrients.
Giving the reasons.
Yes.
You are giving the
and
reasons.
So it makes more sense. And for me, looking at it, if you are not telling people how important it is to rotate, for instance, and to not cut corners when you're giving fertilizers to farmers. If we're not helping people see how it can even come back and bite you, at the end of the day, you might not get the desired results that you're looking for.
Exactly.
Well, like I said, I hope you've been following the discussion talking about hidden hunger in not just Nigeria, but in Kaduna State. We're starting from home country. And in Kaduna State, you heard from Jessica Bartholomew, who is the coordinator of civil societies scaling up nutrition in Nigeria, Kaduna chapter. And, hearing from her that not too long ago, we had over half of our population deficient in one way or the other in micronutrients.
Children.
And yet children.
Yeah, children under 5.
Under 5.
Yeah.
Yes. And today, we are glad to say that there's work that has been done and we're seeing changes, but more needs to be done. I mean, 43 is still too high for us.
Sorry, 48.
48.
48.3.
Okay, because you said, you've juxtaposed it then. Okay, so 48.3 is still too high for us to have our children, especially below 5, malnourished. Still too high. And to think that even the drop has been because of monies that have been put to address this challenge. What are your thoughts this evening? Time for us to hear from you. What do you think? How much more can we do? How else can we carry this awareness? What else can be done to ensure that not just people in the metropolis, but people even at local level, down to our villages, understand the concept of appreciating what we are able to grow and even how to grow it. We just talked about rotational formulas when it comes to farming. All right, so the lines are open and the numbers are 081 40,000 989 and 070 800 989. Once again, that's 081 40,000 989 and 070 800 989. All right, while we're waiting for your calls, let's go on a quick commercial break. And when we get back, hopefully we'll be able to talk because I see that we've run out of time. Let's go on this quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Your Health 360.
Garin sabulun Sunlight 2-in-1 mai turaren oud. Sabon shiga ne daga ire-iren garin sabulai da Sunlight ke kisarwa. Yana zuwa a fakiti mai ban sha'awa kuma yana tattare da ingantaccen turaren oud na asali.
Don't cough in our faces, please. Cough into your bent elbow.
You didn't even wash your hands with soap before eating.
You're supposed to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap under running water so as to avoid contracting coronavirus. Or you could simply use a hand sanitizer if soap is not immediately available.
I should just go and sit at another table.
You people should just leave me alone. Don't take offense. We all should actually shift a little away from each other so as to prevent the spread of coronavirus.
You have to take responsibility to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Avoid areas where there are lots of people. Ensure to keep a physical distance of at least 2 meters from other people. Wash your hands with soap and running water regularly and do not touch your face, eyes and mouth if you have not washed your hands.
Take responsibility. Do it for you and the rest of us.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and its partners.
Salem University, Nigeria, driving uninterrupted academic programs and raising global leaders. Rush for your admission now. Log on to www.salemuniversity.edu.ng or call any of the following numbers: 0807 706 8987, 0815 885 2101. Salem University, Nigeria, raising global leaders.
Hamda melunya hamda wirogu COVID-19 jiwihia coronavirus nga fie bonye gori doke bonye gongwe kiwo we ja longwara nga ke bonye we kiwo je kenga yon funcholam we dziba bore gure namne nga fie nye bonye je kenga we bo bi dam wuru ko babbo bore na wara kimsun kimshewu kimnyu bi dam wuru gure tong mombon nga bore ndo mombon wuru ga gwejo ga fenom di ko ga ko so we bo frufu bi dam je king o yo lelelero wo gusham se jong ko tong bari gweninam de jong na gu bermunenam hi khafi o ki hi krisu kanalan krisu kambon ko krisu wizini krisu kanalan krisu kambon ko katu katarfo nom do ham Kuka Center for Faith Research and Public Policy Board Dwendwe nom do ham.
Likitan haƙora me kuma cavities kuma ta yaya man goge bakin Colgate yake kare haƙorina daga cavities? Shin yana kawar da shi ne?
A'a, yawancin sanadiyar ciwon haƙora daga ramin da haƙori yake yi ne da ake kira cavities. Idan kana goge baki a kullum tare da Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, tsarin aikin sa ne ya nutsar da sinadarin calcium kan cikin haƙora ya kare su daga yin rami.
Lokaci ne na inganta rayuwarmu zuwa ga amfani da Colgate man goge baki da kuma duniya suka zaba.
Because Colgate locks calcium in.
Colgate ya samu amincewar kungiyar likitocin haƙora ta Najeriya.
Charles! Yes, Mama!
Go bring 2 sachets of Hyper Bleach come.
Why 2 now?
Because I go use one take soak the whites, then go use the other one take clean all the yama germs.
But I know they see any yama germs for here now.
They small well oh, but then they and now why I trust only Hyper Bleach to take kill all of them pata.
Make all your white cloths they continue to the white and they kill all the virus and the yama germs. What fit cause sickness for your house with the disinfecting power of Hyper Bleach.
Babe, I'm craving ice cream.
Okay, I'll go and buy it.
Vanilla. No, wait. Make it chocolate.
Make up your mind now.
What if I now want both?
Babe, I can only afford one. Never mind. I'll buy it.
It?
Yup. 1 tub of Fun Ice Vanilla and Chocolate Ice Cream. Wise move. Why just have one when you can have both? Enjoy the rich, creamy delight of the all-new Fun Ice Vanilla and Chocolate Ice Cream. Fun Ice Vanilla and Chocolate Ice Cream. It's a good mix. Another quality product from Fan Milk Nigeria PLC.
Your Health 360, only on Invicta 98.9 FM with Jacqueline Adedija.
All right, thank you for staying with us through that commercial break there. Time is up, and we have to go. So, Jessica, what are your last lines? I mean, for those who are listening, especially at home, because like you said, foundationally, a change has to come from our mindset first before we even start to talk about what government can do to help us more. Your last line.
Okay, thank you very much. I want my listeners to know that eating our locally food is very good. Don't allow anybody to make you feel inferior for using our locally food. The next thing is, please, as women, this is specific to women. This is micronutrient deficiency affects more women and children than men. Please, let's do well to eat good food. From the day you conceive till the day your child turns 2 years, find out what are those things that you need as a pregnant woman to eat to develop yourself and your child. And what does my child need after he's given birth to grow from when he is birthed to when he grows up. Please, women, let's take care of ourselves. Thank you.
And so it would seem that once again, women, we have a huge, huge role to play in all of this. One day the world will sit up and take note of how much we have done as women. That was on the lighter note. But indeed, just like we've heard from Jessica Bartholomew, it is very, very important for us as mothers and as wives to ensure that we eat mindfully. And it just means being thoughtful about what you're putting in not just your mouth, but in the mouth of your children and, of course, your husband. Processed foods, like we've heard from Jessica, is a no-no. Let's try to go back to the basics and eat more from the land than from machines. Jessica Bartholomew, coordinator of Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition in Nigeria, Kaduna chapter. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
You.
I know you're a very busy person. Thank you for being here. Well, from us here at Invicta, let's continue to be victorious. Be mindful of nutrition. It's very, very important. Thank you.